In Star Wars Jedi Survivor, one of the biggest changes in the game was the combat. With 5 different lightsaber stances now available to choose from, there is definitely a lot to try out and compare. I thought it would be a good opportunity after having access to the game for a week now to already compare and rank the combat stances for you guys, so that when you begin your playthrough, it might make it a little bit easier to decide which stance to focus on upgrading. Now, before I jump into the rankings, and real quick, I am giving away free codes for Jedi Survivor over the next few days. I have a code to give away here on this channel and one to give away over on my Clips channel when that one reaches 1,000 subscribers. So to maximize your chances of winning, make sure you're subscribed here and on the Clips channel. It'll be linked down in the description below, and you guys can comment which platform you'd like the code on for, either on the video here or on one of the Clips videos over on that channel. Anyways, getting into the rankings, I am going to discuss these as if you had already unlocked all 5 saber stances and are looking for which one to spend your skill points on and max out the skill tree. A lot of stances work really well on their own, but some of them really benefit with help from certain force abilities to bring them to their maximum effectiveness. Now, keep in mind these rankings are my personal opinion, and although you might not agree, this is just how I feel after playing the game for a full week. So starting off at number 5, I am placing the single-bladed lightsaber. The single blade, although classic, feels very reminiscent of Fallen Order. With a lot of the same or similar animations, it didn't exactly keep me coming back for more, and the skills on the skill tree essentially felt exactly the same as the moves we were performing in the last game. From lunging attacks to dash attacks and overhead swings, the movements in these skills just didn't exactly feel like upgrades, and therefore were not worth the skill points. It kind of gave me the impression of we should already have all of these movements in our skill set, and so why upgrade it when there's 4 other stances to try out, plus new force abilities and survival skills to spend our skill points on. So overall, I just think the single blade was too similar and lacking a little bit of freshness. One thing I will mention though is I did really like the aerial dash strike at the top of the skill tree. It made it really easy to take out the probe droids, but I also wasn't a fan of the skill points you had to spend to get there. So I'm going to place the single bladed lightsaber at number 5. Coming in at number 4 is the crossguard stance. Now, personally, before playing this stance, I didn't expect a brand new combat style to rank second last on this list, but I have a few reasons for it being down there. As cool as it is to have a new fighting style in Jedi Survivor, the crossguard stance wasn't a viable option in a lot of fights. This stance features a really heavy and slow but powerful combat style, and yet majority of the enemies you come up against are quick and agile. I think I was hoping the crossguard stance would be more like Kylo Ren's fighting style and a little less heavy medieval broadsword. The movements were slow and felt like Cal had trouble controlling it a lot of the time, similar to when Mando wields the Darksaber and would swing it around aimlessly. As far as the skill tree went for this one, I really liked the greater impact skills with the big ground shockwave and also rolling thunder, which was like the heavy lightsaber throw ability where you could send it through multiple enemies for big damage. These were both pretty cool, but in my opinion, it was still just too slow and heavy. Now again, at number 3, I wasn't expecting to have a brand new stance in this position. However, this is where I am placing the blaster stance. The blaster stance was probably my most anticipated fighting style before playing any of Jedi Survivor, and as I begun the journey through the game, this is what I was looking forward to the most. I'd planned to reset all my skill points when unlocking this and maxing out its skill tree to see what it could do, and that's exactly what I did when it came time. To be honest, I was pretty disappointed to realize that the only skill on the skill tree really worth getting is the last one called Quick Draw. Working similarly to Lando's Sharp Shot in Battlefront 2, this skill tree mainly focuses on giving you more ammunition or ways to charge up your ammunition and less creative ability options. So I really hope if we do get a third Jedi game with the blaster stance in it, that there's more freedom of the actual blaster itself and not just abilities around the lightsaber and giving yourself extra ammunition. The positives of this stance though is that it does combine really well with some of your force abilities, being able to lift characters in the air and freeze them, and getting ready for a quick draw and taking out multiple of them at a time was really cool. Being able to push enemies away and follow with blaster shots, or even have the ability to damage an enemy without breaking their guard first, were all positives of this stance. So it wasn't all bad, but in my opinion, it was solid around. I was just hoping for a little bit more out of it. Closing in now at number 2, I am placing the double-bladed lightsaber. The overhaul that has been done on this stance looks and feels incredible, from new animations to skills that are really good at being used together for big combos, and just the flashiness of the double blades. This stance really surprised me, and I said this at the preview event before, and I'm going to say it now again with the launch of the full game. Being able to do things like the knee slide animation into Gathering Tempest, which chains multiple strikes together, into something like a Vortex Dive, which is like Darth Maul's spin attack in Battlefront 2, everything felt like it just comboed so well with this fighting style. On top of that, having abilities to drag your enemies in close and then ground slam made you feel super powerful. And then the last ability being able to throw out your lightsaber while it was spinning out there, control it to run through multiple enemies like an Inquisitor would in their style of combat, just had me absolutely loving it. This combat stance was made for crowd control, but honestly, I felt like with how quickly you could land multiple hits, it didn't feel like it was lacking at all in the damage department. I even found it easier to take out the Rancor with this stance over the others, so if you guys are having trouble beating the Rancor, maybe give this one a try. And lastly, coming in at number 1 is the dual wield stance, and I'm sure you guys aren't surprised by this one at all. Now, the dual wield stance combines the excitement of being brand new and exciting with a good skill tree, plus great speed and damage to make it the ultimate combat style for Jedi Survivor. Only getting a small taste of this in Fallen Order, I think it's safe to say everyone was really eager for this one to be fleshed out and fully realized. Taking a look at the skill tree, something like Backstep Slash, the first ability you unlock, while super basic, is still so useful playing with this type of speed in the combat stance. But also some of the creativity in the skills like Focused Parry and Precision Release, allowing for some really cool like Jedi Reflex style design combat, combined with devastatingly powerful attacks, made it very, very impressive. Not only this, but the skills focused on combo strikes have such awesome animations, and the final skill of Dancing Blades, which allows you to throw both sabers out and have them bounce off multiple enemies before returning with you, was just incredible. I think for me, this stance just did everything right. The skill tree was good, the creativity was there, the overall speed and power of this stance felt really balanced and had me using it for majority of my playthrough. So hats off to the team who worked on designing this stance. Anyways, with that said, I hope this gave you guys a good breakdown of the combat stances and what I think you should focus your skill points on. The dual sabers was definitely the best in my opinion, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree with me on that. Now, for those that made it this far into the video, thank you for watching all the way through. Today's secret comment is going to be Grease. So if you made it this far in the video, go ahead and comment Grease down below so I can thank whoever is watching the full length of these videos. But as always, I'm going to thank you guys for tuning in today. I'm going to go get working on another video. I will see you tomorrow, and may the force be with you always.